In this Fextralife video, we'll be taking a look at Arknights Endfield, which is a new free-to-play action RPG developed by a Shanghai-based Chinese video game developer, HYPERGRYPH. Arknights Endfield is releasing today, January 22nd, and is available on PlayStation 5, PC, and mobile. In this video, we'll be taking a look at gameplay mechanics, combat, what you can expect when you dive into Arknights Endfield, and how it stands out among other heavy gacha titles out there. And before we dive right in, a huge shout out to HYPERGRYPH for sponsoring this video. If you guys like what you see and you want to help support the channel, you can download the game and try it out for yourself. As I mentioned just a second ago, it is free to play, so there is no risk to your finances to check it out. So let's jump into the story and setting of the game briefly before we get into the gameplay. Arknights Endfield welcomes players to Talos 2, which is a moon that was colonized by pioneers from Terra 152 years ago through a portal gate known as the Aether Gate. A century before the events of Arknights Endfield, the portal collapsed, causing the Terrans to be stranded on Talos 2. As a result, the pioneers had no choice but to settle there, and they thrived for generations, building a civilization and a new foundation for humanity. Players take on the role of the Administrator of Endfield Industries, an independent company that strives to provide and develop industrial technology and services. As the Endman, it is your task to rally your fellow operators to defend humanity from danger, explore vast wildlands and uninhabited territories, rebuild lost technology, and in general just expand your civilization. As someone who has played other gacha titles, at first I was worried that the narrative would be lacking. However, the developers have put effort into making the story and its setting compelling, and I found myself intrigued with the sci-fi theme, the combination of futuristic designs while maintaining classic Chinese architecture, and unique stylings of recruitable operators that will surely appeal to all types of players. And even though I did find some dialogue scenes to be cheesy in general, I was glad to see a skip button that allowed me to skip some of them when I just wanted to hop into the action. Okay, with the story out of the way, let's get into the gameplay and combat, which is what I know you really want to hear about. Arknights Endfield is an action role-playing title that doesn't seem to have a typical open-world map, but instead, it features vast intertwined areas that provides a considerable amount of landmarks and zones for players to explore. There is also modernized base building and industrial management through the AIC, or Automated Industrial Complex, while also incorporating some conventional elements of RPG combat and progression that will seem familiar for players who have played other action RPG titles and gacha games. Currently, there are two regions for players to explore, Valley 4 and the city of Wuling. Arknights Endfield has no shortage of activities for players to discover. There are various quests, storylines, puzzles, secrets, collectibles to find, and challenges to complete to earn extra rewards and personal achievements. As mentioned, the game consists of large interconnected zones, which is, in my opinion, a plus. Most developers approach exploration of a video game with an open world map, and while some could say it's the common standard for games when it comes to content and replayability these days, sometimes it's a smart move to scale down in this aspect and focus on making the zones distinct and alive while ensuring stability and performance. I cannot emphasize how some developers try and go wide with a huge open world game, but forget quality and performance when doing so, which ends up translating to a bad game, and that is simply not the case here. Exploration and movement, on the other hand, are simplified as there's no wall climbing, gliding in the air, or swimming. And as much as I wanted to dash around the map to get where I wanted to be, the game utilizes the use of facilities such as a network of zip lines, jump pads, and fast travel via limited TP points. In line with industrial management, it's your choice on how to solve minor puzzles to power up facilities scattered across the region by strategically placing electrical pylons and relay towers. While some may find it overwhelming at first to get a grip on base building, it does feel rewarding knowing that each player has its own unique way to build infrastructures. The only problem I have with getting around the map is with the zip lines. I wish the minimap was still showing while using them so I knew which direction to travel in. Just like other ARPGs, Arknights Endfield will seem familiar compared with other games in the gacha market. A player's team consists of 4 operators, and each operator can execute a unique string of basic attacks, a battle skill, combo skills, and an ultimate ability. Combining these moves allows for seamless chaining of offensive reactions to execute bursts of damage, applying a variety of status effects, and an execution of cool, flashy moves. What anime-inspired action RPG would be complete without that? Battle skills are operator abilities that use SP, or skill points, a shared resource required to trigger an operator's skill. You can use battle skills up to 3 times, and consuming a bar of skill points will regenerate on its own by performing a perfect dodge, or from passive effects of an active operator. Battle skills vary from providing support, offensive, and defensive maneuvers. Combo skills, on the other hand, are special moves that trigger if certain conditions are met through coordination and synchronization between the active operators in a party. However, it is vital to know that these do not cost skill points, they cannot be spammed, and they do have a cooldown. Combo skills are pretty much QTEs that prompt you to press the correct button when the conditions are met. And for the ultimate abilities, these are powerful skills that can be used if the energy meter of an operator is maxed out. The energy of an ultimate ability can regenerate in various ways, like using battle skills, combo skills, and consuming certain items. As for defensive tactics in combat, you can dodge enemy attacks or utilize an operator's unique defensive combat skill. Dodging enemy attacks does not allow players to consecutively dodge attacks, as it has a brief cooldown. However, it does reward players with reduced stamina consumption and SP recovery if they land a well-timed perfect dodge. The game also heavily revolves around physical statuses and arts inflictions. Physical statuses such as Lift and Knockdown accumulates vulnerable stacks, while Crush consumes the stacks to execute heavy physical damage, or Breach debuffs the target by weakening them to incoming physical attacks. Art inflictions, on the other hand, are elemental effects such as Heat, Electric, Cryo, and Nature that can stack up to 4 times on an enemy. By maximizing an elemental stack or combining certain elements or physical statuses with one another, you can apply various status ailments. There are also other operators that excel in consuming status ailments applied to enemies to deliver powerful combo skills and other effects. Enemies and bosses also feature a stun meter that periodically fills up as you attack them. And once the stun meter is full, the controlled operator can perform a strong attack that leaves the target briefly stunned, vulnerable to incoming attacks until it recovers. I wasn't particularly excited when fighting enemies, as I found the lack of diversity in fighting these construct-like aliens and raiders to be rather underwhelming. However, the boss battles made up for it because they have unique attack patterns, distinct designs, and compelling musical themes. One of the main differences between Arknights Endfield and other well-known gacha ARPGs such as Genshin Impact is that all of the selected operators in the player's party are active in the field, which reminds me of games such as Final Fantasy VII Remake. And even though it's nice to see the other operators fighting alongside you, there is some limitations to their actions, as they will only perform basic attacks and consume items if specific conditions are met. Players can freely switch between active operators to test out different combat styles, but the game does not require you to do so, as you can freely use another operator's battle skill, combo skill, or ultimate simply by pressing the dedicated button. This feature allows players to perform combos in a much more simplified manner. In my opinion, Arknights Endfield is at its best in combat when you perform a string of combos smoothly and finish off with amazing visually appealing moves, and that is why it's vital to understand how operators complement one another for more reactive pattern and combo setups. Aside from exploration and combat, the automated industry complex is one of the 3 core pillars of the game, allowing players to build facilities that can help in resource gathering and crafting a variety of finished products necessary for equipment and upgrades for operators. However, the AIC is also not limited to just producing materials, equipment, and consumable items, but it is also used for constructing devices such as turrets for combat and zip lines for a seamless experience in exploration. At first, it may seem overwhelming and intimidating, especially if you're someone who is not familiar with playing construction and management simulation games. However, after putting effort into learning the basics of the system, I found it rewarding to optimize the resources I needed for progressing both the development of the world and character progression. There are a lot of systems involved in the industrial management of the game, such as mining or gathering ores, facility building, power management, including automated production of gear, resources, and other materials that plays a significant role towards character progression. The AIC factory may appeal to experienced players and to those who wouldn't mind putting in the extra hours of building an industrial empire. However, casual players who don't have the patience might pass on playing the game due to its complexity and importance towards upgrades and character progression. Despite that, the game does feature a helpful tutorial for the AIC to learn the basic fundamentals, and it also features a blueprint system to save current builds, making it easy to copy-paste and even share layouts of machines, transport belts, and production facilities with the community. For character progression, Arknights Endfield features a traditional upgrade system that we can see across other gacha titles. You can upgrade the operator level to increase its attributes, weapon leveling is there to improve its effects, you can improve an operator's ability matrix to increase the rank of an operator's combat skills, you can unlock talent nodes for more upgrades, you can further strengthen the operator by unlocking their potential phases, and finally, the promotion upgrades to raise the operator level cap to levels 40, 60, 80, and 90. Most of these upgrades require operator materials, plant materials, and currencies to unlock. Weapons, on the other hand, level up similar to how you level up operators. They also require upgrade materials and minerals to max out the level cap and promote it to further unlock higher level caps. You can also unlock their potential by sacrificing duplicates of the weapon to increase the weapon's passive effects, and finally, infuse a weapon with essence orbs that drop from enemies to improve the substats of the weapon, such as critical hit chance, elemental damage, and healing effects. As for gear, it is divided into 3 categories: armor, gloves, and kit, and these are crafted in the factory. Luckily, gear doesn't have RNG, so as long as you have the right amount of materials, you can craft a specific piece of gear with the same attributes as many times as you need. However, increasing the substats of gear can get complicated, requires the player to grind a bit, and has a slim chance for you to acquire. When you upgrade, you'll need to target a substat that you want to upgrade and sacrifice similar pieces of gear for a chance to upgrade the substat in exchange for artifice and catalysts. As far as unlocking characters and weapons, the game separates its gacha banners for characters and weapons. Characters and weapon pools are categorized into 4 stars, 5 stars, and 6 stars. There are also different character gacha headhunting banners that require Aura Barrel and Aura Geometry, New Horizons banner, the basic headhunting banner, and character banners that have limited time. Weapon banners, on the other hand, can be purchased from the Arsenal Exchange by spending Arsenal tickets that you can acquire from headhunting characters. Final thoughts. As much as I appreciated the factory system, it may be overwhelming for some players, and it may also be a hard pass for casuals, as they may not want to invest a lot of hours into it. Thankfully, though, the game has the blueprint system feature for a more efficient and convenient way to approach base building, so there is that to consider. Combat is where I personally think Arknights Endfield hits the mark, and building a team that can synergize well and complement each other's abilities will allow players to master specific combat styles, freely mix operators, and show off those flashy moves and combos. And although I did enjoy the combat aspect of the game, I am hoping that HYPERGRYPH adds more variety of enemies to fight, exciting new challenges, further improvements such as better SP management, better gear progression, and I hope they also introduce fresh combat mechanics. Perhaps the biggest draw to Arknights Endfield, though, is the notable polish and effort that the developers have placed into its UI, visual effects, the performance, audio, sound effects, and the amount of detail and design of each operator. If you're looking for a new free-to-play gacha game to enjoy in 2026, Arknights Endfield is a game you should consider giving a shot. Again, a big shout out to HYPERGRYPH Studios for sponsoring this video. If you guys like what you see and you want to try out the game for free, you can use our link below. It is completely free to play. And there is a release celebration happening right now that allows you to get up to 135 free pulls on banners, as well as a 6-star operator Adelia, a 6-star weapon Dreams of the Starry Beach, and 2 6-star weapon selection crates through various release celebration in-game events. But I want to know what you guys think out there. Are you playing Arknights Endfield? Is this one you've been keeping your eye on? Does it have a visual style that appeals to you, or is the gacha mechanic not your thing? Let me know in the comments below.